I'm doing everybody. UFC 311 goes down this weekend, and I'm going to give you my predictions from top to bottom. Yeah, of course, normally I do the main cards. They're going to come a little bit later. But if you want to put a few bets on some of the guys lower down on the card, if you want to do a parlay, if you want to sprinkle a bit of cash and make things more exciting, then I'm going to tell you who I think wins. So let's get started. In the first fight of the night, we've got Tagir Ulanbekov fighting out of Dagestan with a record of 15-2, and he's taking on Clayton Carpenter, who's undefeated. He's 8-0. However, Clayton Carpenter is a good striker. He's fun to watch, but Tagir Ulanbekov, he's got the wrestling. He's only got 2 losses. One of those was a decision to Tim Elliott, who doesn't get the credit he deserves. And way earlier in his career, pre-UFC, he lost a decision to Zhalgas Zhumagulov, who's also a UFC caliber. So it's a tough one for Clayton Carpenter. I think Tagir Ulanbekov gets the job done. He wins by a decision. Moving on, Ricky Turcios. Okay, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That's all he ever says.
You know what I'm saying?
Taking on Bernardo Sopai. Sopai, last time we saw him, you might remember, one of the sickest knockouts of 2024. It was vicious. It was awful. It was horrible. It was a flying knee to Vinicius Oliveira in round 3. Now, Sopai's a good striker. He's fun to watch, but Ricky Turcios, he's unpredictable. He's tricky, and just recently he lost to Raul Rosas Jr., right? But Rosas Jr. is a beast when it comes to the wrestling. Ricky Turcios, he's kind of an unconventional striker, but he finds a way to win. He gets the job done, and I believe he probably gets clipped by Bernardo Sopai. I was going to say the other way around then, but I changed it last minute. Right, moving on, Rinya Nakamura taking on Muin Gafarov. Muin Gafarov, good fighter, good skills. He's got a record of, let me just look at it here. So 19-6, okay, fighting out of Tajikistan, taking on Rinya Nakamura. This is a tough one for him. I'm telling you, Rinya Nakamura is the real deal. He can do it all. Undefeated, 5 knockouts, 1 submission. He's got Imanari rolls for days. He's got excellent submissions. He's got great wrestling, and the hands are sharp. He's got beautiful striking. I believe Rinya Nakamura probably gets a knockout in that one. Moving on, Caro Rosa taking on Eileen Perez. These are the early prelims, remember. Caro Rosa, Eileen Perez, last time we saw her was in Paris. She got the job done against a lesser kind of opponent, somebody with not too much experience. That said, I'm leaning towards Eileen Perez. And then the early prelim headliner, Grant Dawson, Carlos Diego Ferreira. You might have saw it recently. Grant Dawson, he's doing big things. He's got a great record. I think he's 10-1 in the UFC. That one loss, he got clipped to Bobby Green. He feels that Michael Chandler shouldn't be in the rankings. But Carlos Diego Ferreira, he's been around for a long time, and he can get the job done everywhere. Very, very well-rounded skills. However, I've got to go with Grant Dawson. The wrestling's fantastic. The striking's always catching up. He's on a roll. He's doing big things. He got clipped off Bobby Green. He's learned from his mistakes. And I believe he'll get a decision here over Diego Ferreira. All right, the fights are back this weekend. UFC 311 goes down in Los Angeles, and I have partnered with DraftKings Sportsbook. It's a new year, which means new matchups and all new action to keep you pumped up. Tune into the fights this weekend, and don't forget to get in on the action with DraftKings Sportsbook. They are offering all new customers $200 in bonus bets instantly after betting just $5. You can stay in on the action and you use that $200 in bonus bets on DraftKings same game parlays for a shot at even bigger payouts. Combine multiple bets together with the same game. Love the thrill of live betting? DraftKings has got you covered with live markets like Fight to Go the Distance, making watching the fights that much more exciting. So new customers, use my promo code Bisping, bet $5 on any wager and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Now, if sports betting is not yet available in your state, then don't worry. DraftKings is the one-stop shop for all things daily fantasy, where you can join in on all the fun and have a shot at winning cash prizes. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use my promo code Bisping, bet $5 on any wager and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That is promo code Bisping only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Then we got a heavyweight fight against Jailton Almeida taking on Sergey Spivak. 2 big guys. Jailton Almeida, as we know, had his first loss last year against Curtis Blades. He's kind of one-dimensional. He always goes for double leg takedowns, and he gets them most of the time. And when he gets on top, he's got a very good chance of finishing you, just like he did against Alexander Romanov when he came back. However, against Curtis Blades, he kept looking for the double leg, and Curtis Blades just elbowed his head off against the fence and got the knockout. Prior to that, he beat Derek Lewis, took him down for 5 rounds, had the mount for 5 rounds, but didn't finish him, didn't take any chances. Now, Sergey Spivak, the polar bear, is a big, strong guy, and he's been in there with some of the best in the world, and he's had some ups and downs throughout his career. Overall, 17-4, 7 knockouts, 8 submissions. Last time out, got a stoppage, a submission of a Marcin Tybura. Before that, lost to Cyril Gane, okay? Can he stop the takedown from Jailton Almeida? That's what this fight comes down to. It's as simple as that. On the feet, Sergey Spivak wins. But can he stop that really powerful blast double? Jailton Almeida is just a big ball of muscle, and the double leg is super explosive. I think he gets the takedown. I think he gets the stoppage. I think he gets on top and pounds him out, and he learns from his lessons from Derek Lewis. You got to take more risks. Peyton Talbot's back in action as well. Absolutely love watching Peyton Talbot. This man represents the new age of mixed martial arts, okay? He's undefeated, 9 victories, 0 losses, 7 knockouts, 1 submission. The man can do it all. Excellent submissions, decent wrestling, big power in his hands as well. And the same can kind of be said for Ronnie Barcelos. He's been around for a little bit now. He's 37 years old, but he doesn't appear to be slowing down. He's got a record of 18-5. Last time he beat Christian Quinones. He's got good wrestling. He's a champion in jiu-jitsu in Brazil. He's a champion in wrestling in Brazil. And the striking's really nice as well. He can handle himself on the feet. However, I feel like this is a developmental fight for Peyton Talbot. It's another step up in competition. If he can beat Ronnie Barcelos, then he'll be 10-0, and he's going to go on to do fantastic things in this sport. I've got Peyton Talbot getting the job done here and looking good. I think he gets a stoppage at some point during the fight. And then the prelim headliner, Johnny Walker, once again against Bogdan Guskov. Now, 14 out of 16 wins have come by way of knockout. I hate to say it, Johnny Walker, I love the guy, but I feel like Bogdan Guskov gets the job done. Now, right, main card, let's get started. Main card, Kevin Holland taking on Reinier de Ridder. Reinier de Ridder, on the feet, isn't a polished striker. He's just not. And he's not even really a polished wrestler, okay? Typically, he uses a single leg, and it's kind of sloppy. I was looking at the notes in my phone. It's a sloppy entry. But once he does enter, once he gets a hold of an opponent and takes them down, you're in a world of trouble. Simple as that. He was a champion at ONE FC over in Asia. He's got a record of 18-2. He beat Gerald Meerschaert in his UFC debut. And Gerald Meerschaert gave him a really tough test. I am telling you. But Gerald Meerschaert is not somebody to underestimate. And he's a fantastic grappler. He was choked out via arm triangle in the 3rd round after really pushing Reinier de Ridder to the limit. But he's taking on Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland, I don't think he'll be able to stop the takedowns in this fight. I'm a big fan of Kevin Holland. We know he's always entertaining. He's always fun to watch. He's had 26 wins, 12 losses. This will be his 39th fight. As we know, he goes up and down between welterweight and middleweight. Last time out, it was a sad rib injury to Roman Dolidze. That's why he had to pull out at the end of the 1st round. Before that, got an armbar over Michal Oleszejczuk, lost to Michael Venom Page. He's fun on the feet. He's good to watch. He's unconventional. He's got good submissions as well. He's got very long arms that he uses for Bravo chokes, for Doris chokes. If he takes you back, you're in a world of trouble. But can he stop the takedown against Reinier de Ridder over 3 rounds? Can Reinier de Ridder not get knocked out? Because Kevin Holland has got knockout power, let me tell you. Remember that leaping left hook that he knocked out Santiago Ponzinibbio with. Choked out Michael Chiesa, as I said, with a Bravo choke. So on the feet, super dangerous for Reinier de Ridder. On the ground, very alarming for Kevin Holland. So who do I think wins? My head says Reinier de Ridder gets it done. My heart says Kevin Holland. I'm going to go with Kevin Holland. I think he could catch him, but we shall see. Moving on, lightweight division. 2 guys that have been at the top of the division for quite some time. Renato Money Moicano.
Moicano wants money.
The last time we saw him, wow, what a performance over Benoit Saint-Denis. The man was possessed. opening round had a 10-7 round, okay? Wasn't scored that way, but it should have been. Why do I say that? You guys don't know the scoring criteria like I do. Hear me out on this. Under the scoring criteria, if it's a very, very close round, if it's absolutely even and one guy lands one extra punch or a kick, that's a 10-9. If it's a clear round for a person, that's a 10-8. If it's a round where one person almost finishes the guy, totally dominates the man, then that is a 10-7. And let me tell you, 10-7 rounds are very important because it allows a fighter the ability to come back from losing the first 2 rounds and win the third. For example, let's imagine that one guy kind of just gets edged out in round 1. He gets edged out in round 2, but he doesn't necessarily get beaten up. If in the third round, that guy that's lost the first 2 destroys the other guy, marmalizes him, butchers him, the referee's going, fight back multiple times, but he just manages to survive. And at the end of it, one guy's covered in blood and his face is falling off, and the other guy hasn't got a mark on him, but he just lost the first 2. Well, he won the fight. And that is why 10-7 rounds are so important. And that is why Renato Money Moicano beat Benoit Saint-Denis in the first round via 10-7. Now, Beneil Dariush, 35 years old. Sadly, he's lost his last 2. He was knocked out by Arman Tsarukyan, who's in the main event. That was just over a minute. It was a beautiful flying knee to a punch. Took him out. Before that, he got finished in the first round as well against Charles Oliveira. Prior to that, the man was on an 8-fight win streak. Mateusz Gamrot, Tony Ferguson, Carlos Diego Ferreira. The list goes on. That viral knockout over Drakkar Klose that caused that crazy meme with Joe Rogan and John Anik and all the rest of it. Well-rounded skills, high-level jiu-jitsu. The man's been in there with some of the best in the world and a tremendous amount of experience. And he didn't fight last year. He took the entire year off. He had a bit of an injury, but I think that was for the best, okay? He was finished twice. He was stopped by strikes twice. So he's taken a year away. He's been allowed to rest, to recover, and he's coming back very strong, very hungry. But who gets the job done? I hate to say it. Renato Money Moicano's on a 4-fight win streak. It'll probably be 5 after this. I love Beneil Dariush. What a human being. But Moicano beat Jalen Turner. He beat Drew Dober. He beat Brad Riddell and destroyed, wiped the floor, smashed Benoit Saint-Denis. I believe Renato Money Moicano is victorious here as well. Moving on, now we get to the good stuff. The 3 big fights. Jamal Hill taking on Jiri Prochazka. 2 former champions that lost the belt to Alex Pereira. They're both obsessed with Alex Pereira. I did an interview with Jiri. It's on the channel. Check it out if you haven't seen it. He throws a pair of gloves at your feet. What do you do?
Let's fight.
He has been training out in Japan with karate masters. He's been training in Mexico City. We know Jiri Prochazka is an unpredictable, unconventional striker. I love watching him fight. He's a very unique mixed martial artist. A lot of fighters now, they're all kind of using the exact same mold. Jiri is a throwback. He's a true martial artist. Yeah, you can call him a samurai. He truly does live by that code. He's dangerous. Look at that spinning elbow knockout that he got over Dominic Reyes. Beautiful. He's got great kicks. The man can wrestle as well. And against Jamal Hill, that's going after everybody, that's taking no prisoners on social media, and his fan base is kind of taking a dip because of it, right? He's got a chip on his shoulder. He's got knockout power. He knocked out Thiago Santos and Johnny Walker, and he went to a decision with Glover Teixeira. That says he hasn't got the touch of death. You know, he hasn't got Alex Pereira's type power, but he's definitely got power that you've got to be careful of. And Jiri Prochazka, as much as I'm a fan, does leave openings. He's a traditional karate style kind of fighter. He has his chin kind of high. The guard is wide. Yes, he uses kicks. Yes, he's got a more varied attack, but it only takes one good shot on the chin to do the damage. Last time against Alex Pereira, we saw the left hook dropped him at the end of the first and a head kick finished him at the start of the second, right? Who do I think wins? I think Jiri has more ways to get the job done. I think Jamal's going to land some shots. It's going to be a fun fight. It's probably going to be the fight of the night. It's going to be the most exciting fight from my perspective. But I think Jiri Prochazka gets the job done. And I don't think he fights Alex Pereira next. He can't do that. He's fought him twice already. He needs to go on a 3 or at least a 2-fight win streak. Then we get to the co-main event. Merab the Machine Dvalishvili taking on Umar Nurmagomedov. Umar Nurmagomedov, we know, he's got great wrestling. He's got good striking. The man's undefeated. He's 18-0. He's training with Islam Makhachev. He's training with Habib Nurmagomedov. He's coming from the mountains of Makhachkala, Dagestan, right? We know all about their lineage, okay? He's incredible. But out of 18 wins, only 9 finishes, 2 knockouts, 7 submissions. And of course, on the other side, Merab Dvalishvili, he's not exactly a finisher either. So this one's going to go to a decision. But who gets the job done? They're both really good wrestlers, okay? That's their primary weapon in fights, okay? And when 2 good wrestlers meet each other, they kind of cancel one another out, okay? Therefore, the fight will play out on the feet. I think Nurmagomedov has probably got the cleaner striking. He's got a more varied skill set when it comes to strikes, throws a lot of kicks. Merab usually just kind of swings the hands and looks for the takedown. But let's look at the level of competition. Merab Dvalishvili, last time out, 4 champions in a row. Sean O'Malley, Henry Cejudo, Piotr Jan, Jose Aldo. When you look at Umar Nurmagomedov, and this is not an insult because you build as the fight career goes on. And Islam Makhachev kind of took a similar route. Habib Nurmagomedov, he took a similar route. He wasn't beating former champions prior to being a champion, and he's gone down as one of the greatest of all time. But when you look at Umar, last time out against Corey Sandhagen, who's a very, very good fighter, and that was the biggest win of his career, he was able to take Corey down, but he wasn't able to necessarily get the control time that he needed. Prior to that, it was Bekzat Al-Makan. It was Ronnie Barcelos, Nate Maness, Brian Kelleher. It's a big step up in competition against Merab Dvalishvili. And I just feel like Merab, it's one of those. It's a hunch. It could go either way. But I think Merab probably gets the job done. I do. It's the toughest fight in the division for both men. Simple as that. I'll go to Merab. I'm kind of 51-49 on this one. It could go either way, but I'll say Merab. Then, here we go. Main event, a rematch. 6 years in the making. Arman Tsarukyan's wanted this one for a long time. It's all he's been talking about. And he also said he's not fully invested in mixed martial arts, which is kind of crazy because Islam is. We know that. Islam Makhachev, the man's incredible. He might just be the pound for pound number 1, or it could be John Jones, or it could be Alex Pereira. Regardless, if he wins this weekend, he's making history. He will be the first lightweight fighter to ever defend the belt 4 times. History, and certainly will be one of the greatest fighters. He's got a record of 26-1. Last time out against Dustin Poirier, he looked improved on the feet, although Dustin pushed him a little bit. But Arman Tsarukyan on the feet, I believe, is better. I think he's quicker. I actually think he's a little bit slicker, but he was out-grappled in the first fight. But he took that fight on short notice. You all know this by now, and he did very well. He gave Islam some problems. He was taken down. He got takedowns of his own, but he started to fade as the fight progressed. Now, even though Arman says that he's not fully invested, when you look at his training camp, when you look at the YouTube videos, when you look at the Instagram, he's pushing himself to the limit, right? And rightly so. And look at the results that he's had recently. Charles Oliveira, Beneil Dariush, Joaquim Silva, Demir Ismagulov. Lost to Mateusz Gamrot in one of the best displays of MMA grappling you're likely to see. And that fight could have gone either way. Outside of that, the only man in the UFC to beat him was Islam Makhachev, right? So who wins this fight? I've said a lot. At the end of the day, it's going to be a tough fight for both men. But I believe Islam Makhachev with Habib Nurmagomedov in his corner, with Umar Nurmagomedov being the co-main event, with the whole lineage, with all the resources that he has, all the experience that he can draw upon. Yes, Arman's great. I think Arman's going to give him a really tough test. I think it goes to the final bell. I believe it will be a decision. But I believe Islam Makhachev will get enough done. He will win enough scrambles. He will get more takedowns. He will have more control time. He will see the kicks coming from Arman Tsarukyan. He probably wins a decision and will go on to be the greatest lightweight that the sport has ever seen. Listen, if Stipe Miocic defended the belt more times than anybody and he was the greatest heavyweight, then Islam Makhachev, if he gets the job done, will be the greatest lightweight fighter that the Ultimate Fighting Championship has ever seen. What a title that is. My God. So anyway, they are my predictions. Who do you think wins? Let me know in the comment section down there. By the way, I have members videos dropping every single day. exclusive content for the members only. So sign up if you want to be a part of that, if you want to view that stuff. What do you think about who I predicted to win? I'll do an instant reaction immediately after the fights where I can either gloat about my predictions or I'll eat some humble pie and eat shit if I was wrong. But still, thanks for watching. Subscribe and ring the bell. See you soon.